This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
This is your first look at sports. I'm Jonathan Benson. The Bahamas Basketball Federation's annual Summer of Thunder series has been a big hit for visiting college teams since its inception. And according to First Vice President Mario Boleg, the biggest problem they've encountered so far is finding a way to accommodate all the teams that want to take part.
We had once again denied some schools from coming in this year because after a certain amount of teams, you know, there's only so much you can do, and there's that small window of opportunity when these teams can travel. We have 3 teams already lined up for next Summer of Thunder, so, you know, we've had the top-notch major teams come here to Summer of Thunder, and then they before they want to move on the lineup to go to Battle of Atlanta. So the Bahamas is where basketball is played, and it's played at its best.
Now, I asked whether or not they have plans to add any other tournaments to the schedule. This is what Boleg had to say.
The Bahamas Basketball Federation has a lot of drawing on the board, and you will see that eventually come, and hopefully we're also looking at maybe even having a Christmas tournament, to say, not just a scrimmage game, but where Division I teams can probably come and compete against themselves. We're also looking at something even maybe in the high school realm.
Well, Black Point Exuma hosted one of 4 regattas during the Emancipation Day holiday weekend. Black Point, of course, only features the C class, but some of the top sloops were in competition. Long Island had strong representation in Black Point this year, and so it was only fitting that when all the points were tallied, it was the pride and joy of Salt Pond, barely legal, carting off with the overall championship.
We didn't win any races, but we were consistent, and I think that paid off in the long run, you know.
Any given day, one boat I built to win, no matter how the cat jump.
We made a couple mistakes, you know, I'll admit to that, but overall, we came through, we did good. You know, we made the right choices when it mattered.
Well, day 4 of the 14th IAAF World Track Field Championships are in the books. 3 Bahamians have the opportunity to make it through to finals, and coming up a little bit later on, we'll see how each of them did. Plus, we'll also take a look at another athlete with Bahamian roots, and she also had a good competition. Bahamians in competition on day 4 of the 14th IAAF World Track and Field Championships in Moscow, Russia. Former world champion Donald Thomas was out first in Group A of the men's high jump qualification. Thomas cleared the first 2 heights with little problems before having some issues at 7.5. He eventually cleared that height on his 3rd attempt, and after that, it took him only one more attempt to clear the next height at 7.6 1/4. The qualifying height was supposed to be 7.7, but 12 athletes weren't able to clear the previous height, so Thomas moved on to the final without having to jump again. Now, we can tell you that Thomas, he will not be alone in that high jump final. He will be joined by Ryan Ingram, who cleared all heights up to 7.5 on his first attempt. Ingram wasn't able to get over 7.6 1/4, but he still did enough to finish in the top 12. The high jump final will be contested on Thursday starting 11 a.m. local time here at home. Ingram will jump 3rd. Thomas jumps 11. Now, the final Bahamian to compete today was Jeffrey Gibson in the men's 400-meter hurdle semifinals. Let's take a look.
This is the 3rd and the last of our semi-finals for the men's 400-meter hurdles, and it's absolutely loaded. Jeffrey Gibson of the Bahamas, 23 on Friday, 2nd in the Central American and Caribbean Games earlier this year. So an intriguing semi-final gets underway. Kieron Clement out in lane 6. Pretty steady from Sanchez at the moment. Cisneros of Cuba is up onto the shoulder of Kieron Clement. Di Green trying to hang on to White, the Jamaican, at the moment. But good run by Cisneros at this stage. Sanchez is biding his time, the Olympic champion. Di Green trying to come through on the inside, but it's a good run by the Jamaican at this stage as well. So, Cisneros still holding the lead. He's got Sanchez inside him. Kieron Clement trying to come through now into one of those 2 automatic spots. This is a brilliant run by Cisneros, the Cuban. He's going to take it. Sanchez also there.
So Gibson finishes Heat 3 8th in 50.51, does not advance. However, this is his first World Championship, and I'm sure the 23-year-old, who's soon to be 23, will be back in a couple of years. Now, we don't have any Bahamians competing in the women's heptathlon this year's World Championship, but Katarina Johnson-Thompson, the daughter of Ricky Thompson, our own audio man here at ZNS, she had a tremendous showing. Johnson-Thompson was in medal contention after the first couple of events yesterday, but she didn't fare too well in her weakest event, the shot put, and that meant she had some work to do on the final day of competition. By the time the 800 meters came around, Johnson-Thompson back in the top 5, and with this being the last event, she gave it all she had. In fact, Johnson-Thompson ran a personal best 2:07.64 to finish her heat second. That, however, would not be good enough to move up, so Johnson-Thompson finishes 5th overall with a personal best of 6,449 points, and there's no doubt Ricky's a proud father tonight, and why shouldn't he be? His daughter definitely has a bright future ahead of her. Well, Team Bahamas is in Puerto Rico tonight, awaiting the start of the Under-17 Boys Centro Basket Tournament. The Bahamas will open up tomorrow against the U.S. Virgin Islands at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. From there, they play Costa Rica on Thursday before closing out pool play against the host on Friday. The Bahamas will need to finish within the top 2 in its pool to move on to the semifinals, and from there, the top 3 teams, they qualify for the Tournament of Americas.
In the past, I think that our teams never had enough team to practice and to prepare. But this year we had at least 3 solid months to practice and get a real good system in. Also, we traveled to AU last week and we won the gold medal in Tampa. So these guys have a lot of scrimmage games under their belt, a lot of chemistry, and these guys like each other. They were spending time together. So this is a good group of guys. Most definitely we are going to qualify for the next level, which is Tournament of the Americas next year in San Antonio.
From what I've seen for the past 3 months, this team is a very good shooting team. So I think we'll be well prepared to bring the gold back to the Bahamas and make the Bahamian people proud of us and go on to FIBA America and qualify for Worlds. This is a 3-year commitment, and we're looking forward as coaching staff and players to make the Bahamas proud from here till we get the Worlds in 2016.
Well, the 2013 Rollville-Exuma Class C Regatta was 2 competitive days of sailing out on the waters, and regatta consultant, the Reverend Dr. Philip McPhee, was impressed with the response they got from fans on shore.
Rollville now has moved up a notch in terms of participation, organization, and togetherness. It's thousands of people who are here, and that tells you that this regatta is growing very well. And so we're very proud of this regatta. And I will be talking with my minister in reference and how we can make this regatta even better in terms of financing from the government point of view, and we will certainly be assisting them in trying to secure corporate sponsorship. This is one of the top regattas, if not the top C-class regatta in the country today. It has proven itself today by how many people on the shore watching this regatta. That has not been happening in terms of regattas, but the regatta was black with people watching this regatta. They came from all over the Bahamas.
Well, it's been another banner year for the Freedom Farm Baseball League, and according to Coach Arnold Forbes, they have a simple recipe for success.
Baseball is about discipline. Freedom Farm, on a yearly basis, has roughly 800 young men from January of the beginning of the year, January, until June. So that is the perfect opportunity to influence young men and what they do. And you have them under your control for that period of time. And trust me, if you look at graduates of that program, that Freedom Farm program, they're there from they're 4 years old until, most of them, until they're 18 years old. It plays a role in keeping them off the streets. It disciplines them, and it helps them not only to get an education, which is very important. So I want to congratulate Mr. Burrows, Senator Burrows, for what he does, what he has created, and that isn't something he's paid for. He does it of his own free will, and in his own free time. So, that cannot be discounted, and he must be congratulated for that.
And that will do it for sports, but don't go anywhere. There's more to come after the break.
This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.